I did my article on the gut microbiome and how that affects depression. I've been interested in researching this topic for a while now and just haven't gotten to it. So that's why I decided to research the gut microbiome and see exactly how it affects mental health. So the article I found was actually a literature review and it reviewed 76 relevant articles. That studied the gut microbiome and its effects on depression. So the gut microbiome is defined as the collection of microorganisms that reside within the gastrointestinal tract, and its composition is affected by factors that include birth mode, infant feeding methods, social and environmental exposure, and antibiotic use. The composition of the gut microbiome is also influenced by genetics, immune pathways, and inflammatory cytokine production. The gut microbiome interacts with the nervous system through a mechanism deemed the gut-brain axis, a sophisticated communication channel between the central and enteric nervous systems. The CNS influences gut function via the release of neurotransmitters and directly regulates the microbiota by releasing cytokines and microbial peptides. Intestinal microbes also affect the development and regulation of the CNS. One example of how the gut microbiome affects the CNS is that it can alter gene expression in the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis and inhibits healthy neuron development, increasing the risk for development of depression. The purpose of this review is to summarize the current scientific data concerning the microbiome-related differences between healthy patients and patients with depression and to highlight studies which demonstrate microbiome interventions that improve MDD symptoms. So there are 4 dominant bacterial organisms that reside in the microbiome. There's a standard level of diversity between these 4 bacteria. And it's expected in the gut of healthy individuals. However, in cases of depression, marked alterations have been noticed in certain phyla, highlighting a potential causal relationship between depression and microbiome composition. So one thing is that people can have leaky gut, which leads to neuroinflammation. Psychological stress increases intestinal permeability and allows bacterial lipopolysaccharides known as endotoxins to enter blood circulation. This initiates an immune response that causes global expression of pro-inflammatory cytokines. Endotoxemia occurs when endotoxins seep through the intestinal barrier during stress responses. In the case of endotoxemia, the immune system is inappropriately activated, ultimately resulting in inflammation of the CNS. Antibiotics also affect the gut microbiome. Antibiotic use has been known to disturb the intestinal microbiome and regulation of cells. These changes are associated with the development of depression. Let's see. There can also be a decrease in neurotransmitter release, specifically on serotonin. Let's see. Brain regulatory centers are also affected by the gut microbiome. The gut-brain axis affects emotional regulators of the nervous system, namely the amygdala, prefrontal cortex, and hippocampus. Studies show that the gut microbiome regulates gene expression of brain regions involved in anxiety-like behaviors and memory and learning. Also, people with altered gut microbiomes have poor production of vitamins. One specific bacteria, Bifidobacterium, one of the bacteria that is less abundant in patients with depression, synthesizes riboflavin, niacin, and folate, all of which are inversely associated with depressive symptom severity. Some intestinal microbes also produce thiamine, the deficiency of which is implicated in depressive symptoms in addition to gross neurological deficits in older adults. So pretty much what it means for prescribing is that probiotics and prebiotics have been shown to positively augment antidepressant medications. The gut microbiome is a promising avenue to augment pre-existing treatments for depression via anti-inflammatory mechanisms, enhancement of the blood-brain barrier integrity and astrocyte function, and alterations in the HPA gene expression. Further, Lactobacillus plantarum probiotics augment selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs, treatment in patients who are already taking SSRIs. So this review discusses the multifaceted connection between the gut microbiome and the CNS, more closely examining how the biochemical composition and functionality of the gut can have profound impacts on whole body inflammation, immune functioning, and ultimately neurotransmission. Microbiome makeup and specific bacteria such as Bifidobacterium and Lactobacillus are associated with neurotransmitter release, intestinal barrier integrity, and decreased inflammation status.